Hello, everyone. This is WECU Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM and 1570 AM on your local dial here. And of course, on social media, Awesome Radio, Facebook, and Awesome Radio YouTube. And also on GPAT 23, which is a local access channel here that you can, anywhere in the world, you can pick us up on Awesome or GPAT 23 Facebook and GPAT 23 um, YouTube. So this is the one and only Let's Talk Real Life with Miss Nada Manning show. And by all means, we're so blessed to have you here today. You've come across the show in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Thank you for joining us. We love your input. Hit us up on Facebook. Leave a comment, and we'll try our best to get a response to that. Interactive shows, yell at the television, scream at the computer, but whatever you do, we're still going to bring it straight to you. We're not going to decorate it with this is what we call real life with Miss Nada Manning. So without a further ado, of course, I'm Coach Garrison. And without further ado, this is Miss Nada Manning. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Good evening. Good morning, everyone. It's once again, we're still here. We're talking to you about real life stuff. And we're continuing on with emotions. Emotions.
Oh, yeah.
I'm here to tell you, if it's not one thing, it's another. I can get right country with it and say, if it ain't one thing, it's another.
And another after that, too.
Yeah. And it goes on. And I tell you, if we don't have control over our emotions, some of us would just blow a gasket. Just go ape.
And by the way, I got a new word for you tonight. And so whenever we get started, don't let me forget. And it is a heavy one right now. At this moment, I'm still not finished with it, but I'm guaranteeing you that you have never heard this word before, and you might not hear it again.
Is it in the dictionary?
No. Not what did folks say? Not near one of them.
Okay. Not nay one, huh?
Not nay one.
Okay, folks. We are in for a treat with some more new words that some of us never heard of before, but apparently it's applicable to this emotion thing. So I want to start out last week. We talked about the aspects of anger. We didn't get into the resolution part because time ran out. And I had said to you all last week that Miss Manning was going to do most of the talking, if not all of it, but most of it, since Coach took over last week. I'm going to see if I can't take over a little bit of something this week. So mine is going to be a combination of questions and comments. But like I said, last week we talked about the envious look about standing behind someone with a trophy, and we feel in some kind of way about that because we felt like, how they get that? I was supposed to get that. I dare you. So emotions kicked in with that episode, and I think many of us have experienced that, where the one that thought they was going to get the trophy did not get it. And did not want to accept the reason why they didn't get it, because they felt like they should have gotten it, and they did not. And then we talked about that black ice syndrome, where we see where stuff happened to us so quick, and we respond so quickly. It's just irretraceable. You just can't take it back because it's already out there. You already said what you said. You already did what you did. Can't undo what was done. And emotions kick in, and it creates conflict with many people. We talked about manipulation and entrapment. And so tonight we want to move on into some additional conflict, could be a conflict. And that is, you can't change what you won't let yourself feel. You cannot change what you won't let yourself feel. Now, what does that mean, Miss Manning? How I can't change what I didn't let myself feel. What you won't let yourself feel. Okay. I refuse to feel some kind of way about someone that obviously has said or done something to harm me or you. Or me, it could be us. You can't change what you won't let yourself feel. You refuse to give in to it, is what I get out of that. That's another way of saying you refuse to give in to it. You just made up your mind. I am not going to let that get under my skin. I don't care what they say or do. Now that goes into what we said last week about just walking away. Sometimes it's best to walk away, but sometimes it's hard to walk away. So we won't let ourselves feel that irritability. You can stand there, you can hold your head up and stick your chest out, you can ignore it and go talk to somebody else. You're still in the room. That person's still over there trying to stir up something, but you refuse to give into whatever it is that they're shenanigans. That's the good word that I like to use. Shenanigans. I think that is in the dictionary. I think it is. So, since we are on Awesome Radio and we know that this is a spiritual station, I want to say that Satan likes to play with our emotions. And that individual that's trying to cause you to feel some kind of way, as many times it might be all the time, depends on how you look at it, nothing but the devil. It's just Satan that's in that person, and that person just don't like you for whatever. We talked a little bit about that last week. So those emotions, the devil just like to play on our emotions, make us feel like we're less than, we're not qualified, we don't deserve the accolades or the whatevers. We don't deserve the promotion. We don't deserve to be noticed. Get in the back of the line, kind of, sort of. That's the way Satan works. Don't want us to feel good about ourselves. So to handle that in itself is about emotions. So to handle that, there's a couple of ways you can do that. I already mentioned one, and that's just refuse to give in to it. No, I don't care what you say or do. I know who I am, and I know what I'm capable of doing, and there's nothing you can say or do about it. If you keep that attitude and be humble about it, then that helps you, not the offender who's offending you. Is that the offender? Yes, the offender. It's not helping him or her. What is helping you to get through? Because you keep in mind of who you are and whose you are. So the devil just have a way of just wanting to trick our minds, and sometimes it wins with the best of us. All of us, none of us are exempt from being tempted, because that's the way he is. It is he or she, the Satan person. So with that in mind, we don't want to be what I want to call it, ruled by our emotions. Ruled meaning letting it get the best of us. And that's a hard thing right there. That's a hard thing. And I'm trying to think of a situation where you in a position where you know what you know that you know. It could be your job. You know what you're doing. You know it's right. But somebody that's higher than you, or equal to you, or under you, or beside you, somebody got to throw a wrench in it and steal your joy. What do you think about that? Somebody have something negative to say, no matter what. What you say about that, Coach?
Well, I say that's a great move to be able to, let's see. I won't say avoid conflict, but I would say it's a great move to protect yourself. Okay, to protect yourself when you getting them fiery darts, and somebody's got purpose, and they're coming for you. And
Is there a way to duck those darts?
is there a
Yes.
way to duck the darts?
Yeah. If you know the dart is coming. Many times you don't know it's coming, like the black ice from last week.
Yeah. Well, I say it don't matter if you duck them or not, because in your own mind, you know somebody's coming for you, and you don't know if the darts are like the ones we were talking, black ice kind of effect. You just know they out for you. They got it in for you, and they are laying in wait for you. They're scheming, planning, and that's where mentally you still can kind of suffer a little bit if you have developed a hard shell and some wisdom about it. Then you don't have to say to yourself, "Well, I'm not going to let that bother me." It'll it'll just it'll just pass you by, if you will. You'll continue on without having to
Respond.
without you having to kind of coach yourself through it. If you're prepared, and the time to get prepared is like on shows like this, where we're chopping it up and we're throwing it out there, ladies and gentlemen, and young folks. We're throwing it out there so you can be equipped and put on some armor now, so you can be prepared for conflict that when people come for you. Yeah.
So in preparation, as with anything, when you're preparing for something, there's a trial period. In order for you to get better at something, you have to go through something.
Yes, that is true.
And if you don't go through it, then you won't be ready. Not that you know when it's coming, but even when it does come, you already prepared. You already pumped up. You already developed your muscles. You already say, bring it on. I'm ready. When you see it, you said earlier, when you see it coming, you can see it's right there, visible, where you won't be surprised when it comes. Is that what I'm hearing?
I saw a post yesterday that said, "Don't forget to thank your enemies, because they're in large part the ones who made you strong."
Right. That's a hard pill to swallow if you don't digest it correctly.
It is.
Because the first thing come to mind is enemy. How is my enemy gonna make me strong? I don't like him. I don't like her. I don't like what's going on. I don't like nothing about him. So how is that helping me? That's where I felt when I first got wind of this years ago about your enemy, how your enemy can build you up. And truth be told, many times you don't know that strength that you've been given until years later. And then it'll dawn on you, oh, so that's why I went through what I went through. Boy, it did not feel good. That pill I was choking on that pill. It just wouldn't go down. And it finally went down, and I got some relief. And I'm trying to think of a situation also about that where tolerance, for one thing, you develop tolerance and patience.
Mm-hmm.
You learn how to deal with people at different levels because you've already had the experience with them. Sometimes you can run into that same type of individual later on, years later, and then you have a instant replay of what happened to you, and you're like, oh, okay, I remember that same thing happening. But see, now you've grown. Now you have developed a tolerance, if you will, if that's a good word, to tolerate them or to respectfully correct them. Or you can, what's the word I'm looking for? You can handle it, I guess is a good word. You're no longer frigidity about it because you've already experienced it. So now it's like water off a duck's back because you you know what to say and you know what to do.
Okay.
And you don't, and there is no fear.
Okay. You hit on two words right there that I want to introduce that concept. But before I do that, you were talking about someone doing a confrontation.
Yeah.
You know, several times in life, it requires us to respond to, you know, try to be proactive and to stop something from happening that's continuing. Well, I was dealing with a particular person and I didn't know how to confront them. I just had to find the right language. And, you know, I felt like one, I saw a candle. You know how a flame is? I saw a candle in my spirit. And I said, I'm afraid to blow that candle out because there won't be any light in the room. If I blow that candle out, it's going to be a fight in the dark if I blow that person's candle out. So that concept was born a few days ago. The candlelight scenario. You got somebody that's treading on thin ice and you're trying to be as cordial, you're trying to be as kind, you're trying to keep the small avenue of communication open. But you are afraid, and rightfully so. So I would change that word afraid to you are cautious about when and how to blow that candle out.
Or if
you should blow it out at that time. Yes, I agree.
Okay.
But boy, let me tell you, it's going to be dark in that room and it's going to be some cutting up in there. So you don't want to blow that candle out at the wrong time. You don't want to blow that candle out in front of the wrong people. You don't want to blow that candle out where you're in the dark now and you about to run into the wall. You about to punch something, you know. So that candlelight theory right there was just born. So that's one. Another concept was born, and y'all heard it here first. There is a word called here we go. Anxiophobia. 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 Okay. Anxiophobia. Anxiophobia. IA or just I haven't figured out how I want to spell that yet, but with just the IA or A. So INANXIAPHOBIA.
NX-phobia.
NXIphobia. The A could be silent or the A could be there. NXIphobia. Okay. NXIphobia. The prefix of the word is NX, is N. That's insecure.
X.
That's a person that's insecure. The anxiety is a person with anxiety. And the phobia is somebody that is overtaken with fear. I've taken, they probably got to put this in the DSM-5, which is the book of diagnosis for mental health situations. because this is a person that's overtaken with insecurity, anxiety, and severe fear. Phobia is another level of fear. So there are people that's watching us right now that are maxed out on all three of them to the highest.
Insecure, anxiety, yes. And what?
And phobia, which is fear.
Oh.
They're very afraid. So this person is a walking weapon. Now, I'm not saying they're incompetent. I'm not saying that they're big, tall, fat, ugly, handsome, a king, a queen.
They are person.
But what they are is an emotional mess, dressed up or dressed down. And they are functioning just like either an alcoholic can be functioning. He can function during the day and go to work from 8 to 5 at night, or at a certain point where during that week, he is a sloppy drunk. Can't live without alcohol. But this person who suffers from anaxophobia is an emotional wreck that you may not know they're an emotional wreck because they've dressed it up so pretty. They are extremely insecure, like a lot of us with the trauma throughout life. The anxiety is off the chain. And the phobia is they're afraid of every doggone thing. So the results of somebody like this is someone that's always doubting what you're saying. One, because they don't want to receive it. You ever say something to somebody and you just say, okay, this right here, this wall is blue. This is what we'll do with this wall because it's blue. They will doubt the wall is blue. Boom. And they're looking right at it.
Question. What do you call that person similar in what you're describing? There are people that are out there that don't know what to think of you. They watch you. They listen to you from afar. They watch your move, your body language. They'll speak, but they won't go out of their way. They'll speak because you're walking right past them. They can't help but speak. But if you're across the room and they see you from over there, sometimes you'll wave and say, hey, how you doing? Not that person. They're going to stand right over there and watch you unless you come up past them or come in close proximity. They might say hello or how you doing. But other than that, they just watch you from afar. Now, isn't that some type of phobia or what is that?
Some people that are like that are some of the most admirable people in the world. On the positive side, to me, I call them green people. They're introverted. They got, just like you and I are probably type A, extroverted. They got just as much going on in their calm, cool, and collective world. They can be we'll go in there and we'll set off fireworks with our personality and blow the room up. They'll come in there and go in the bathroom and put a bomb in the trash can and just say, all right, I'm about to leave in about 15 minutes. This whole place gonna blow up. And they won't say anything to anybody. So their emotional intelligence could be a lot higher than ours because they observe things more than we do. And so inwardly, they don't vibe off of back and forth conversation or having to get their opinions in all the time. They vibe on just absorbing the room and not, they can get the benefits that they need just by being there. And they may seem a little shy, but that type A or type B personality, that introvert personality is just as powerful and can do just as much damage as somebody going through there with an AK-47, mowing down everybody. This person can, in fact, be what you call, there's another person that'll do that. And
I call them sneaky.
You got a Sigma male.
I call them sneaky.
You got a, I hear you. You got an alpha male and you got a Sigma male. A Sigma male will sit there and watch and be probably the smartest person in the room, but you won't know it.
But they use their intelligence in a negative manner.
Yeah, now they can pedal scuttlebutt around, and the first thing that you think if somebody brings their name up is, oh, they knew the whole time, but they didn't say nothing. So you got some positives and some negatives that come with passive aggressive people who are passive, quiet. They can make comments just as cool, calm, and collective that can ruin your day. But because if I'm about 50-50. So if I'm on my loud vocal self and my coaching self, they can trigger me, and I'm going into this. Nah, we're not doing that. I'm going into that role. Why are you raising your voice for? Why are you getting heightened for? Because I'm passionate about the subject. I'm not, this is where this is not what's happening here. I can't believe it. In the meantime, they just lit the fire that caused that. And they are arsonists, and they're standing in the crowd watching the building burn down.
Like they haven't done a thing.
Like they haven't done a thing.
Yeah.
So
or they'll just walk away. Just walk away from the whole thing and just let everything else go over there, just blow up. Y'all, okay. I don't have nothing to do with it. I caused it though. But I'm walking away like I'm just as uncaring, and that.
Yeah, that's that person right there. So now, but back to this anxiety phobia.
But that's what I was asking you.
Yeah.
Does that description fall into this phobia thing you're talking about?
Well, it could be that. It could be anyone that is out, whatever the personality type is. It could be anyone. But now here's where you will tell who this person is. It is someone that one is going to doubt everything that you say just to unsettle you, to take you. Is that really going to happen? I would think that's what happened to Aunt Eve in the garden. Did God really say you're going to die? Or are you really going to die if you eat of this tree?
Right.
Either she said that to Satan, or she said it to her husband. Are we really going to die? Yeah. So they'll say that to you. Now, this is a person that's going to unsettle you by their anxiety, by their fear, and their insecurity. So they're going to trigger you because they're not hearing you.
And could it be that they're not sure of themselves either?
That's what it is. That's where it's coming from. They're insecure. That's the foundation. And you had nothing to do with that insecurity.
Right.
But because they're insecure, here's the first thing that they'll do is they'll get you explaining yourself until the moon turned blue. They'll get you presenting your case, and they'll get you trying to prove in some court of law, in Sam's Club, in the grocery store, in that you should not buy this item, that you should not go for it because you even though you got a strategic plan, you got a contingency plan, which is what you're going to do if things fall apart, how you're going to live with this. So if you're making an investment, what you're going to lose, what can you bear to lose? You got a plan, and they still don't go for it. And then 2 weeks later, it proves itself, and they still won't go for it. That's insecurity that's them making you pay for their anxiety, which is probably on a clinical level, where there's something physiologically going on with them that's making them depressed. And the fear is gone from just a regular fear to protect you, because that's what fear can do, to a phobia, which they might as well just be standing there saying, "What's that? What's that? Who is that? There's somebody upstairs. Where's that? What's that standing over there? Who called me?" We're just about to a clinical level of not being able to control that fear. So they'll dress themselves up and they'll come for us, to those who are practically trying to manage their anger, trying to hear people out, trying to love and bring peace into the world and keep harmony by repenting from yelling, cussing, all of our emotional weak points, and build up our emotional intelligence so we won't fall into anger and wrath. And there are people that cannot help themselves and they will not receive from you. And in return, they're going to punish you because of their anxiophobia. Inexiophobia. That's what they're going to do.
And at the end of all of that, it's going to be some bitterness somewhere.
It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And there's some people right now.
And with that kind of behavior going on, and that bitterness developing, then that person that's becoming bitter have to decide, am I going to stay bitter, or am I going to learn from this? Am I going to get better from it? Am I going to grow from this incident, from this negative behavior that has caused me to become so bitter? At the end of the day, I think that bitterness can work for a person if they allow it to. Like I said in my first statement about what? Not letting yourself feel certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're bitter, you're already feeling it. Now you just need to make up your mind what you're going to do with it. What am I going to do with this bitterness, huh?
Well, see, that bitterness is the poison. It's the venom.
Stemming from that person you just described.
And you got bit. That venom is the venom that is. Now, I want everybody to hear what I'm about to say, because we're not playing right now. That venom is killing you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get bit by a snake, or you're a snake handler, they generally have anti-venom close by. Before you can handle poisonous snakes here in the U.S., you got to have permits, and they train you. And all of these people doing all of these stunts with snakes and cobras, they usually have that little vial of anti-venom right over there. We are giving ourselves cancer. These conflicts that we're talking about on this show, ladies and gentlemen, are the ones that last for years. Mm-hmm. The ones that you got right now, the falling out that you had 20 years ago, and it's still eating you on the inside out. Mm-hmm. So we got to increase our emotional intelligence. Okay, we got to increase our ability to communicate. And so I want to get into a couple of things about the first thing we got to do with dealing with conflict. The first thing we got to do when we see conflict, when we have it and it's keep rolling over and it keep rolling over. One, you got to realize you're probably not the best person to deal with it. You would usually take a professional. But in America, our best and most used form of conflict resolution is the adversarial system called a courtroom. They hear facts and cases and proven points. They don't hear emotions. They don't hear how you were hurt. They don't want to hear the fundamentals of your emotional mental illness in that sense of the word. They want to hear the facts. Do you have your attorney? We got a prosecutor. You are a defendant or you are the victim. So the first thing we need to do as us, all three of us in the room now, and the one person that's watching this show, is we need to have a discovery phase. Now, you were hurt, sir, ma'am. The discovery phase is this. Not telling us that you were hurt, but the discovery phase is saying what happened. Now, at the end of this conflict resolution course that we're giving you right now, you're going to say, oh, what happened is totally different than how I was harmed. Yes. So we do have to find out what happened. Is somebody letting their dog come over and take a dump in your yard? Is, somebody stretching your boundary little bit by little bit by having another adult or somebody say something to your child when they're on the way home from school or with a certain group of people? So those things you're not going to try in court when y'all break out in the fight. But we got to have a discovery of one, what happened. So it's got to be sort of, so you're sitting down, what just happened? Yeah, so-and-so, the dog keeps coming over and, messing up the yard. All right. What do you think we ought to do about it? Well,
go over there and kick the dog.
Well, when we got to get the owner to see if we can talk. So whoever's got the issue, you got to be able to bring it to the table. And once you talk about that, I'm going to accelerate this point. Once you talk about what happened, then you want to give twice as much time uninterrupted to how it made each of us feel.
Okay.
They do not do that in the courtroom. So it should take, you talk about guys, you talk about a woman that's going on and on and on and on and on. In a mediation, in the formal mediation, and I have a lot of experience mediating court cases and resolving things out of court. It can take up to 30 or 40 minutes straight for just one person getting out their emotions. But in an adversarial argument like you've been having, you're going back and forth. So we got to get this case, we got to get the facts out without interruption, and we got to get how it made the other person feel. So both of you have to take turns and say, without you interrupting and accusatory or explaining why you did what you did. That's just the foundation of discovering what happened. And many people, and I'm about to hush, many people don't get that far because they keep mixing up what they felt and what happened to them and how it made them feel from what the other person did. So the court system in America has taught us that we should punish people immediately based on what the facts are and what happened.
So are we going to give some more scenarios about conflict? Because sound like what you just said was intermingling the resolution to that conflict. Going to court and the two coming together, and that's more on the resolution side. The conflict.
Go ahead.
The conflict is, in your case, what you were talking about, is revolving around the feelings between 2 or 3 individuals. And they want to come to an agreement. And the only way they can come to an agreement or some sense out of the whole thing is to go to court. So that's more, going to court is more like a resolution, is it not?
Or that's how they get their resolution in court. That's a
right. So I'm saying what is going to be more on the conflict side. Let's go back to the dog that you mentioned. the dog that was in somebody else's yard. And I said, just kick the dog. There
Yeah.
are some people, to extend a conflict, there are some people that would be ready to shoot the dog, get it over with.
Yeah.
They might say something to the owner the first time, but they're not going to keep right on saying something to the owner. If the owner don't take care of it, then the one that's offended going to take care of it. Mm-hmm. And that's just going to shoot the dog and be done with it. Now, to that one that shot the dog, he solved his problem, but he also created a problem with the dog owner. So the conflict still exists. So in that case, sometimes it get resolved, and sometimes it don't. Sometimes something like that, truth be told, I mean, I guess crazier things has happened to go to court for a dog. I guess it does exist because you shot my dog.
Well, here's what I got to say. I wanted to start that note that I use to say we'll get into the resolution techniques is because we have to obligate ourselves to go into conflict resolution. We have to take the choice away to use emotions to manage that situation because it becomes a crisis. And some of them are crisis off jump. The guy in my neighborhood, we used to call him dog killer. If your dog started wandering on his property, he got poison meat laden around his property. And your dog would come back home foaming at the mouth, and your dog would have been poisoned. So, other than, and then my dad would shoot the dog rather sometimes to have the dog suffer. But so when, there are people, I mentioned one time that I said I was going to give an example of a conflict of anger. I'm working in the detention center, and I'm in maximum security. I'm a sergeant in that area, and there's a guy that comes in that just committed murder. And for the first time in my life, I saw someone in a situation, and there was a lot of guys in there, in charge with murder. But for the first time in my life, I saw somebody in their own situation that I felt like it was, in his mind, it was justified to go and shoot that guy. Because I couldn't see his capacity to handle it any other way. Looking at his stature, his mental, what happened is he was a drug dealer. He had a territory. And I guess the guy wanted to encroach on his territory and start selling in that area. So to close the story out, the guy wouldn't. So they were competing. This guy got with his girlfriend, the one who controlled this block. I'll say he was the kingpin on this block. His competition came in, infiltrated his block, got with his girlfriend, took his girlfriend, and was having sex with her. Called him on the telephone while he was having sex with her and selling drugs in this guy's domain, and made his girlfriend say certain things to him on the phone to disown him because now he's taken over. Can you imagine somebody on that level? He was sitting there as he told me that story. He was sitting there still trembling as to what had happened. But as he told me that story, I saw a calmness and I saw an anger.
Now,
he got a gun. Let me finish 1 second. He got a gun and went over and he shot that guy. Go ahead.
The one that you're talking to, the one that's telling you the story, is the one that took the girlfriend, or the one that lost?
No. This is the guy that went and shot the dude that was trying to take over his territory. And the dude took over his territory, took his girlfriend too.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure that
Yes. Yep. Took his girlfriend, and listen to me closely. While he was having sex with her, made her call him on the phone.
I heard that part.
Yeah. I was just trying to make sure you fit. And so then that anger.
The one who was offended.
Yeah.
Is the one that did the shooting.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you are dealing with people, we got to find a way to deal with conflict because it's natural. And some people are just born troublemakers. I am so sorry to say that. There's two things that I got to say that I don't care if nobody believes them. Everybody is not from this earth the same way, the same place.
Where they
and
from?
The other one is everybody. I don't think everybody's human.
Where they from?
They got to be from another planet. If they ain't from here.
Because of their behavior?
Yes. It's things you can see in the spirit.
Do you think that some behaviors are genetic?
Oh, no doubt. Yes. We're operating from our ancestors. Okay. All of the, and I'm not getting creepy here. When you look at a 10-year-old girl, all biology states that all of the eggs, all of the generations that can come through her body is already in her body.
From generations back.
Yes. If she got 3,000 opportunities to have a child, they're all 3,000 of those of 10 or 5 or 15. All of those biological eggs, listen to me closely, ladies and gentlemen, just go run and Google this, are in her body to produce the future children, grandchildren, all of that. So biologically, we pass on trauma in our DNA from what we eat. You know, it impresses our DNA. It'll make your child eat the same way.
Okay. Having said all of that, you still say that there are some folks that's not from this planet.
Yes.
I disagree.
Okay.
And I disagree because what I just brought out of you just now.
Yeah.
About the genetics.
Yeah.
Just because I'm acting crazy and foolish and out of this world, don't necessarily mean that it's all my fault because of genetics way back generations ago. That's just the way it is. So how can you say that I'm not from this planet when I have generations of all of this other stuff running through my veins? It's not my fault that I'm acting the way I'm acting in a sense. I'm just looking at the whole picture here. So that's why I say I disagree. To say that I'm not from this planet because I'm behaving a certain way. Well, wait a minute. How can you say I'm behaving a certain way, but you don't know the whole story, sir? You don't know why I'm behaving the way I am. So to say that I am not from this planet, it to me is ludicrous.
Well,
it makes no sense. When you just said what you just said.
No, I agree. I believe both. No. Listen to it. I believe both scenarios are true. The scenario that I just gave biologically, yes, all of us have to come from someone instigated by the male, the father. Now, the part that I was sharing with you, if all of us are not from here, is not talking about, because I can't pick them out, but I do believe that there are angelical people here, and I believe that there are demonic people here that were placed here to mess up or to, how should I say this? Oh, there's only no other way to say it. But they integrate with a regular human just to have a child. I'm trying to tell y'all it's getting spooky, but that's what I'm talking about. So I agree with you that, yeah, probably 99% of the people we see are from another human being. But I think that people from beings from outer space did have relations with humans at one point, and that created a lot of stuff historically in the Bible. I think I'm not. Yes, I gotta go on. I gotta stick to my point. I think that has happened, and I think it happened recently in the last immediate history, 4, 5, 8,000 years ago. That another celestial occurrence, just like the celestial occurrence of God created man from the dust here. That was an influential celestial event, and the angels. But no, I gotta stick to my guns. But I agree with you about what you're saying. Our ancestors influence our behavior. Yes, slavery does, and I would debate. I'm not Neil deGrasse, whatever his name is. Slavery does influence our actions today.
You read my face, right?
Yeah, I know. You like blah 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 blah. Everybody ain't from here. I'm sorry. I done seen some people, and I done seen a lot of people. I saw a guy one time. You know how we depict the devil, and he probably don't even look like what we got with the pointed ears and the horns and the teeth. And that's just. I don't know if anybody's seen the devil. Okay, but I saw this guy one time. He was the scariest guy. He had the pointed teeth and everything, and he was a black guy. He was black, and he was tall, and this guy was looking just like the way we depict what Satan would look like, the cartoon-looking character with the pointed ears and the teeth. Yeah, and the hair, he had a little fro, and his ears was up like that, and the teeth when he smiled.
And you sure that wasn't a costume?
No. This is maximum security. You ain't bringing no costume, gonna lock up. Yeah, I'm working in the pits, armpits of society with murder 1, murder 2, federal inmates. I treat everybody decent. Talk to everybody just like I talk to you. And so I had a successful career in that area, but I did meet the guy that looked like what we think is the devil, but he was just a black guy. And muscular, he was cut, he was ripped, but he had that face, the kind of pointed nose, kind of like it. And when he smiled, even though we had no problems with the guy, when he smiled, I don't even remember what crime he was committed for, but he came escorted by 2 or 3 officers, and I took care of him, on my shift for a few weeks before he got shipped out.
Well, we have about 2 minutes left.
Resolution techniques, next meeting, next show.
Say that again.
I said, we want to do resolution on the next show?
Well, we definitely going to continue with something.
Because we ain't taught them nothing yet. We got to get into it. Y'all got to stay tuned to this. All right, I'll be quiet.
I guess you will at this hour. Folks, I am, as you can see, that Miss Mann is trying to be very polite. I am watching my behavior. I am being courteous and respectful to the co-host.
Yeah.
He has a lot to contribute.
Yeah.
And I told you all last week, folks, that I was going to be the lead on this, but I don't think that happened too much. I had a little something to say. Excuse me?
Anxiophobia showed up today.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to end tonight's show, and we're going to try some more next week, Lord willing. With his help, we're going to continue on with this emotional roller coaster that we've been on for the past several weeks as we continue with the paths of a little bit of conflict, but hopefully maybe next week we'll talk more about resolving some of these conflicts, how we're going to behave, how we should behave, give some scenarios about certain things and how we handled it, and turned out to be a very good route to take as we resolved the situations. When I say plural, with more than one situation. So that's basically what we're going to hopefully roll into next Wednesday. Until then, we're going to say good night. God bless all of you. And Father God, thank you for this time that we've had to share, to disagree, and to agree as we continue, Lord, with resolving, hopefully, some little bit of some conflict. But however it went, Lord, we give you the praise for it, and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
WECU 107.5, 1570 AM. Awesome radio. Let's talk real life with Native Manning. I'm your co-host, Vernon Garrison, signing off. Until next time, we love you guys.